So good evening, everyone. Welcome. Let's settle into some inner cool and calm. We can keep warm on the outside, but some inner cool and calm with our meditation. So taking this time to allow ourselves to settling in, settling down, relaxing back into being as we move our mind away from issues, worries, concerns, the fears and frustrations of the world, the fears and frustrations of worldliness, coming back to presence, calm and ease, inner tranquility, inner serenity, inner stillness, silence, and spaciousness. So with our eyes gently closed, bringing awareness within, while also having a de-stress, breathing out stress, tension, as we relax and feel into our body, feeling into the present moment through coming to our senses, appreciating that we can only ever feel and know and connect to our senses in the present moment. Our senses are only picking up data, information in the present. Coming back to being and knowing, a break from doing and thinking. So before bringing awareness to the breath, just checking in on our sense-based experience, beginning with the sense of touch, noticing some touch points, beginning with our feet, feeling our feet connecting with the floor, contact sensation, feet against the floor. Our body connecting with the chair, the cushion or meditation stool, just noticing, sensing, feeling that contact sensation, feeling our body against the chair, cushion or stool. Then bringing awareness to our hands and fingers resting in our lap, making sure they feel comfortable, adjusting them if we need to. Feeling that contact sensation, hands and fingers, one hand resting in the other or against the fabric of our clothes. Then bringing awareness up to our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders without disturbing the uprightness of our back, relaxing the shoulders. Feeling down into the chest area, relaxing the chest area so we can breathe freely. Feeling down into the abdomen, belly area, a place where we often feel emotion, hold emotion. Relaxing the abdomen, belly area so our diaphragm can extend fully. And then feeling the movement as our body breathes and with the out breath. Feeling that sensation, our body moving against our clothes, rising, relaxing, rising, relaxing. And bringing awareness up to our face, noticing our face, even feeling the air connecting with our face. And then from the sense of touch, moving awareness to the skin through the closed eyelids. A happening or just a blankness, simply seeing. And moving awareness to the sense of sounds and hearing, noticing some background sounds, a few sounds from in this room. Maybe hearing a few sounds from outside, beyond the room. Not thinking about the sound, but simply hearing. Different tone, pitch, volume, layers, levels of sound, all occurring in the present. The soundscape of life just here, just now. And noticing the last two physical senses, sense of smell and taste. Noticing any aroma, fragrance in the room. Noticing any residue, taste, flavors in the mouth. Just noticing. Also noticing any thoughts happening, thoughts as a mental sense. All thoughts occur as a mental image that we see. So noticing thoughts without the need to get caught into them, caught up with them, caught out by them. As we develop this calm, objective, receptive, attentive knowing. A mindful knowing of the flowing fabric of experience, pure and simple, through the senses in the present. Developing this calm, conscious, knowing awareness. Being present with that which is present, and especially using our breath as our primary reference point for awareness in the present. That natural inflow, outflow, touch sensation of each breath. Helping the mind settle into some inner calm, clarity, peace, and presence. Always rooted. Mindful knowing here and now. Please help yourself to some tea biscuits if you wish. We've been looking into the 10 ways to well-being in the context of our Vasa retreat period. So from the full moon of July to the full moon of October, the 3-month or 12 weeks Vasa retreat period, for which we're having 4 retreat days. A Sunday retreat day, half day retreats, and through the 12 weeks on the Thursday nights, looking into the elements of those 10 ways to well-being. And these 10 ways to well-being are fundamentally ways in which the Buddha advised for generating well-being, generating worth, generating weal, old English word, weal, well-being, which is also generating meritorious action. So this idea of wholesome action, wholesome karma that generates healthy thoughts, mental states, emotions, behaviors, including speech, that have a positive outcome based upon the fundamental law of cause and effect. So generating and developing the right cause, wholesome, healthy cause, then has a wholesome, healthy consequence or effect, as a way of looking after ourselves and also looking after others as we connect to others, as we connect into community, as we connect into our humanity as a species on this planet. So what we can do, even simply within ourselves, has a lasting effect, an ongoing effect towards others. So there's a sense of responsibility in that. So looking into these 10 particular ways, and last week we looked into the first of the 10, which was dana, the Buddhist word for generosity, giving, liberality, sharing with others, things that are wholesome and worthwhile, a sense of giving, which lightens and brightens the mind, and also is very helpful for then feeling at ease in meditation with a light, bright mind, feeling joyous of being generous and helpful towards others. This evening, looking into the second one, which is the Buddhist word sīla, which translates as one word is morality, another word is virtue, wholesome living, living in a healthy, wholesome, worthwhile way. And I think that this is something which is really, really important to look into, given that morality, or sīla, is one of the 3 elements of the practice trinity in the Buddha's teachings. So the practice trinity is sīla, samadhi, panya, morality, meditation, and wisdom. And particularly that aspect of living in a wholesome, healthy way, morality, a virtue way, helps to bring ease to the mind so that one can feel more settled for developing meditation practice. And if we reflect upon this, it's like, well, what do I really want? What's really important for me? And not just, I want another one of those things, I want a bigger one of those things, I want a red one of those things, I want another couple of those things. But what we really want is to feel at ease, to feel a sense of peace, to have a sense of ease and contentment, to be free from fear and anxiety. That's generally what fundamentally people are after, to be free from fear and anxiety, because even if we have a lot of nice things, if one is caught up in fear and anxiety, then all the nice things in the world don't really help. There might be a little bit of a distraction for a while, but they don't help one to feel really at ease. So ease, peace, being free from fear and anxiety is what's helpful. And that's where the mind being free from remorse, free from guilt, free from shame, being free from memories of wrongdoing, that's where the morality comes in. So it stands to reason that upholding and living in a worthwhile way that aligns with what is wholesome and good and correct, what is moral, is something which we need to do. Most people, I think, have a general appreciation of that, an understanding of that, um, even a type of a practice of that as a natural morality. There's spoken about as two types of morality: natural morality and prescribed morality. So, a natural morality is a sense of um, knowing what is good and wholesome and worthwhile, and aligning to that, and just being that as a general way of being. We could also describe that as aligning to Dharma or truth or reality or truth principles. One of the one of the definitions of Dharma is aligning to that which is wholesome and healthy and in accord with the way of things. And that would be part of a natural morality. A prescribed morality is where we take up the prescription of certain rules or guidelines or modes of being or conduct that could be seen as precepts. So precepts tend to factor in most religious traditions or spiritual practices. Precepts or commandments in some tradition. Commandments, thou shalt not, or in Buddhism, they're more like precepts, and they're generally worded in a way that is about refraining from, as opposed to thou shalt not. Refrain from harming living creatures. Refrain from taking that which hasn't been given to you. Refrain from wrong sexual conduct. Refrain from wrong speech. Refrain from becoming intoxicated. So they're the 5 basic precepts in Buddhism, which align with enabling people to live with a sense of ease, living with a sense of connecting with others. So not just about for oneself, but how we connect, how we relate, how we share with others in a way that's protecting others as well. Interestingly, with these 10 ways to well-being, they all relate to a sense of giving, caring, and sharing, even though they're different activities, but they all have that fundamental element of giving, caring, and sharing. So generosity, which is giving, it's also involved in you care about others and you're sharing things with others, even if it's sharing time or sharing silence or sharing meditation or sharing some advice. And certainly morality or virtuous conduct is giving. In some ways, it's giving up. I will resolve to sort of give up some bad habits that are not healthy, not particularly moral, and so forth. So giving up, but it's also a giving of ease to oneself and others. Giving of a modeling a way of living in a decent way, living in a even an honorable way, even a noble way through one's morality, one's virtue. And certainly sharing, we don't live in isolation, so that sharing one's ease, sharing one's wholesomeness with others in this way as well. So giving, caring, and sharing through practicing morality. It's important that again we appreciate this, because society is increasingly stressed, distressed, disordered, um, uneased, even diseased, when people don't align to what is true and wholesome and what is moral. It creates fear, it creates um, anger, and people do the wrong thing and behave badly towards each other, and essentially breaking the 5 precepts. So harming living creatures, taking that which hasn't been given to you, wrong sexual conduct, um, wrong speech, lying, abusive, malicious speech, gossip, and so forth, and becoming intoxicated. they're ways that cause distress in society. So if we want society to have a sense of ease and well-being and connecting, then and progressing even, then morality is really, really important. So it's seen to be something wholesome, that we're generating wholesome karma, generating punya, the Buddhist word for merit, by enabling our virtue and living in this more conscious, mindful way. And certainly even just our physical health is enabled in this way as well, by having inner inner mental health, the mental health of morality, then it flows on into physical health as well. And I think there's a lot of relationship there, so that the more we're able to uphold what's right and wholesome, then we are more at ease, body's more at ease, health is increased, well-being, joy, good energy, and that certainly flows on. And I was thinking about this aspect of morality, and generally it's spoken about as something that is to do with actions, but and certainly physical actions in terms of what you do and how you behave and so forth. But as meditators, we could even see that it can go deeper into like a mental morality, even though generally karma, it's about intention, and it's about also things being done physically, but there's also the mental side, so mental morality, so not having thoughts, let's say, that involve in harming self or others, not engaging in those thoughts that create mental states and feeling states, and maybe then into speech and action. It's not even engaging the thoughts, as well as again, not having thoughts that get caught up in taking that which hasn't been given, or wrong sexual conduct, and then wrong speech in terms of, in your mind thinking about saying something that's nasty or whatever to somebody, so not even thinking it as well. And obviously with not getting caught up in intoxicants, which you need to actually take, but not being caught up in the intoxication of greed, anger, and ignorance in one's mind, that then could affect one's mind and mental states and then into actions as well. So that inner morality, mental morality, taking it to a deeper level. And that certainly then flows on into our meditation. So that if, for example, during the day we're having a lot of nasty, horrible thoughts towards people, um, then you sit down to meditate, then it's going to be more difficult to clear those, to let go of those. They might even come up even more into the mind when you sit in meditation. And so really appreciating meditation, it's important to have that mindfulness to keep the mind calm and clear, and focusing on things that are meaningful and moral, and that relate to a sense of worth and joy. So it flows on. Even we're receiving then the wholesome karma, the benefits of how we've been looking after our mind during the day or during the evening and so forth. But another aspect of how we can practice morality relates to speech. Because again, most of the people that are going to be here coming to meditation, not doing unwholesome, evil things and caught up in criminal activity, but we can at times say the wrong thing just by not being particularly mindful. So speech is one of the things we need to be careful of. And it's not just saying something which is maybe not true, but maybe just wasting other people's time in superfluous, superficial, unnecessary chatter or gossip. It's like, so that and which is all part of preserving right speech. What the Buddha said, it is important for right speech, because speech does affect us. Speech affects us. It displays us. It expresses us. It shows up what's going on for us, and certainly then affects other people. Even sometimes even more than an action. Someone can say something, and it can really distress someone more than if you would you hit them. but the speech can really go deep into somebody, can affect them for years. And the work that I do as a psychologist, often I hear where people talk about how someone significant to them has said something to them, and it's affected them for years, even from childhood right through until being an older adult. What my father told me really, really hurt me and distressed me and affected me, and so speech becomes something significant to be really, really mindful of with regards to looking after virtue and morality. Are you aware of the 5 mindful check-ins for wholesome speech? Yeah, 5 mindful check-ins. We did look at them when we went through the Eightfold Path, maybe a year or so ago. But the 5 mindful check-ins. So apart from right speech being not speaking things that are not true, and in malicious gossip and harsh speech and sort of angry speech, but there's also 5 mindful check-ins. So before we maybe say something to somebody, which we check in, so is what I'm going to say, is it true? Do I know this to actually be true? Even though we might be saying it in a very pleasant, very sweet voice, it may not be true. So checking, is this true? Do I know this to be true? Second one, is it kind? Am I saying it in a kind way? Because it may be true, but I'm not expressing it in a kind, caring way. Number 3 is it helpful? By me saying this, is this helpful or maybe not? Maybe it's not helpful. It's going to cause distress and upset and angst. Number 4, is it necessary? Do I need to say this? Does this person need to hear this? Is this information helpful for them? Is it necessary? Or maybe I'm just saying it to sort of impress or sort of seem bright or seem very intelligent. Maybe I don't need to express that. And the last one, which is something which we probably all sort of can have problems with at times. Is this the right time? Is this the right time to say something? Because it may be true, it's kind, it's helpful, it's necessary, but not now. This is not the right time. We're rushing out the door. We don't have time to talk about this. It needs more time, not the time that we've got now, or the other person is focusing on something else, and they're doing something, and they're not going to really listen because this is not the right time. Often when I'm doing a relationship counseling where speech is one of the often the issues, communication. People need to communicate, and sometimes the communication is not that mindful, not that skillful, and particularly as this aspect is not the right time. We're sort of, we don't have time to talk about this now. We need to make some proper time, and not sort of speaking around corners, giving information around corners. One person's in the kitchen, the other person's around 2 corners in an office or in a bedroom, sort of saying, "I need to tell you about this and that." I can't hear you, or the person thinks they've been heard, but they haven't been heard properly. Misinformation, misunderstandings occur. So using speech in a skillful way is part of adopting morality and wholesome living, because we need to communicate, we need to commune, especially in relationship. It's about relating, but relating well. I even talk about the 4 C's of relationship, which begins with chemistry. People connect because there's a chemistry, an energy, a vibe, chemistry, which then allows then the communication to happen. So communication, but then the communication needs to be really, really good, because misunderstandings, upset, distress happens because of miscommunication, not communicating, relating well. But when there is good communication, it allows then commitment, a sense of connection and commitment, being together, committed into the future. If there's miscommunication, misunderstanding, the sense of commitment in relationship can get problematic, and not necessarily just intimate relationship, but it might be a business relationship, it might be a friendship, it might be some other sort of relationship. If there's the communication is not good, the commitment to keep that connection going can become a bit weakened. And then the last C is care, um, relating and connecting in a caring way. So this involves being both caring, the more heartfulness, and carefulness. So relating with care. So mindfulness as being careful, and caring as in being heartful in the relationships that we're having. And that all comes down into especially the right speech, how we engage. So certainly this aspect of 10 ways to well-being, morality, is really, really important. It's often sad when people don't uphold healthy, wholesome, skillful morality, and then they get caught up in regret, remorse, guilt, shame. It certainly affects relationship, and also affects the ability to be able to sort of sit down, be still, quiet, and calm the mind in meditation. So, and that also flows on to other aspects of people's life as well. If they're not living in a wholesome, healthy, moral way, the planet, our world, needs more and more people to live in a wholesome, healthy, moral way, because we can see when it doesn't happen, it has huge consequences. At no other time in human history can the the life of our planet and our humanity and every creature in it is being determined by a few people in positions of huge power that could, if they get really angry and silly, um, could destroy everything very, very quickly. So we need to sort of appreciate and practice morality. And again, that micro to macro correspondence, what we can do within ourselves flows on to other people into the wider community, and hopefully to the whole planet as a whole. So for yourselves, any thoughts or considerations around this particular important practice, this prescription for well-being through morality, the Buddhist word sīla? Anything you'd like to share or make comment on?
I think the not necessary part of speech is like something I probably got caught up in before, and then more silence gives you more space to think of quality things to say. I notice.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, so right speech can involve the right use of silence as well. Silence obviously can be used in a negative way. Someone's asking you a question and you just hold silence. But using silence to listen and to pause, and or even when it's better to say nothing, because if you say something you're going to get sort of upset and hurt the other person. So being careful to maybe say nothing, don't react.
And I'm kind of seeing it all interconnected as well, like the sīla, the correct or the right speech also connects with generosity as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because part of generosity is connection, is smiling at another person. Might be the only person I've spoken to all day. So good morning. So it takes practice, doesn't it? Because it's a balance, isn't it? Very delicate balance. And we also have to appear natural as well. So.
Well, the gift of morality, of living in a in a wholesome way, people are more likely to certainly feel more at ease in themselves and a sense of shining forth when they're living with natural morality or even prescribed morality. I mean, observing, some sort of moral precepts, um, which is also caring for others. When people do the opposite of what's wholesome and moral, generally it's because of self-centeredness and sort of taking advantage of and sort of caught up in ego and not considering how it's going to impact and affect other people. So that um, it's more wholesome to practice morality, and that becomes a gift to others. Hence, that the first aspect, dana, generosity, it's a gift. It's being generous to live in a wholesome moral way where you could easily take advantage of a situation and take more than you need, or say things that are maybe not so nice, but you shock jock type of promoting oneself type of thing. But it's much better generally to have that sort of more easeful, kindful, moral approach, more long lasting.
And also what's occurred to me this week, because I've been at the Gold Coast Drama Room, we're doing walking meditation and sitting meditation for hours and hours and hours.
Right.
But it's in noble silence. But the interesting thing for me this week has been that I have felt very connected and a strong sense of belonging and safety. And yet we haven't said anything to anyone. We might have sneaked in a bit of a smile here or there, but we're all doing the walking meditation together, like the Pied Piper. Circle. And then we're doing sitting meditation, and it's all very slow, and it's just bells, so there's no talking. But we can feel very connected.
Connecting in the silence, connecting in the community, connecting in one body of beingness within meditation. Yeah, for sure. And like you said, Loretta, people feel more safe when they know people are, yes, practicing meditation, but also practicing in a way that is moral. It creates a sense of safety and ease. People can feel safe to leave their shoes out there, and it's like not going to think someone that's leaving early is going to take my shoes. It has happened at times by mistake.
But we leave our phone and our everything outside the hall. We're not allowed to bring it in, and it feels okay.
Yeah.
In that respect.
Yes, so morality creates a sense of ease and well-being, both in terms of the practitioner and individually, and then also as a group as well. Confidence, trust, power of that sort of wholesome energy. Just in ending, a lovely verse from the Dhammapada by the Buddha. The Dhammapada is a collection of verses that the Buddha spoke on countless occasions, different occasions. So this particular verse is about morality, and he says, here and hereafter, those who live their lives well abide in happiness. They are filled with a natural appreciation of virtue, and they dwell in delight. It's nice and uplifting. So that's in the retreat notes that you've got. If you don't have the retreat notes, because we are, apart from coming on a Sunday for the retreats, but also we're working through these things with the Thursday. So if you don't have the retreat notes and would like them, send me an email, and then my admin person can send you the notes It's about 60 pages of notes. So give some thought to both the two ways to well-being that we've looked at, dana, generosity, and then also sīla, morality, as ways to well-being. Next week, we'll look into the third, which is bhavana, which is meditation, cultivating clarity of mind. These three, very much go together, which is why on the Sunday we looked at those three, so that dana, sīla, and bhavana. Have a wonderful week and see you next time. Thanks for coming.